Okay, the admin will enable you, inshallah, Prof.
Okay, all right, inshallah.
Okay, so let's brief our audience before the time, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. أما بعد, our dear Professor Dr. Ross Alinda Alias, our Dean, Center for Postgraduate Studies, International Islamic University, Malaysia, and other important management members from the CPS. We are very much delighted to welcome you, dear brothers and sisters, to the session 9 of the Center for Postgraduate Studies Unified Research Methodology series under the module of Ethics in Using Technology. Okay, am I back now?
Yeah, now I can see your face. Yes, you're back on.
Okay, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Yeah. So, inshallah, today, as I was saying, we're going to have our dear professor with us who will talk on this very important topic, technology and trust, navigating the ethics of technology in responsible research. We are all aware that in this our interconnected world, technology has come to stay, and it keeps reshaping how we do research, how we drive innovation, and how we discover unprecedented developments in our lively ways of living. But these advancements, we are very sure they come with pressing ethical challenges. So the Center for Postgraduate Studies has taken this challenge to educate the faculty, to educate the academia, students, and researchers on how to sell these technological ethical dilemmas. And of course, we hope, inshallah, in today's session, we are going to have answers to some ethical questions like, how do we safeguard the integrity of research in a digital age? And of course, we hope to see how can we ensure transparency and accountability when technology mediates our pursuit of knowledge. This very important session, we hope it will serve, inshallah, to all of you, our dear audience, as a platform to unpack these critical issues. And the Prof is here to offer with us very valuable tips on how to apply the principles of ethical usage of technology in research and by extension in the academia. So together, we hope you will follow us, inshallah, to see how this very important session is going to be a successful one. With us, as I said, is Professor Dr. Ross Alinda Alias. Allow me to share a brief about this very important personality. She was the founding president of the Malaysia chapter of the Association for Information Systems, which was established in the year 2014. In 2020, Prof. Ross was elected as a fellow at the Academy of Professors, Malaysia, and in the year 2020, up till 2023, she was elected as the Secretary General of the Academy. Prof has led the team responsible for delivering the Malaysia National Artificial Intelligence Roadmap 2021 to 2025. As a senior professor at the University of Technology, Malaysia, Professor Dr. Ross Alinda Alias presents to us over 35 years of experience in higher education with 20 years of academic administrative leadership roles since that very time. Her last administrative position, she served as the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and Internationalization. Prof is a strong education professional experts in analytical skills, computer science, information systems, knowledge management, and business ethics. Prof is here to share with us, inshallah, all this wealth of lifelong experience to discuss the topic of technology and trust, navigating the ethics of technology in responsible research. Today, the 19th of December 2024, equivalent to 17th Jumada Thani, 1446, after the hijrah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we are happy to invite Professor to the stage to inshallah give us this very important experience, knowledge, and expertise to the audience who are very keen and eager to listen to you, Prof. Inshallah, from now till 3:30, our Prof will take us through. So I hope we will give the maximum cooperation, attention, and to keep our microphones shut while we listen. I wish to welcome Professor on the stage to take the lead in the presentation. You are very much welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Assalamu'alaikum W.B.T. Thank you very much. I think all of you can hear me well. Okay. I am screen sharing apparently. So I hope that you can see my screen. Okay.
Yeah, make it bold in the present.
Yeah, okay. I'm showing it. So okay, so let me go through this. This is the plan because I have about 1.5 hours with you. So this is all that I can manage to cover within that time. So there will be 4 different sessions in this session 9. There will be 4 different sections. First, I'll just highlight technology's role in research. That will take about half an hour, but I need you to respond to me. So even though I know all of your microphones are off, there are times that I will ask you to switch on your microphone because I need you to share as well. And sometimes I need you to switch on your camera as well because I will need you to share the technology that you have or you are currently using. So the first one, yes, inshallah. So the second section is on the trust and ethics. That will just be very briefly about, that's more of a discussion. I think the first section is more of giving. So you just listen to me. But then the second section on trust and ethics is a discussion. And then I will share the best practices for building trust in research. And this will take actually the latest publication that we are using in Malaysia. And of course, for the third section also, I will just need you to bear with me, be patient with me while I explain the best practices and the guidelines that we have for Malaysia. And then, but I need to hear from you in your reflections. So altogether 4 sections, yeah? Okay. So the first warm-up question, which I need you to respond. You can use the chat box. I think all of you can use the chat. I'm giving you about 3 minutes, but you can spend more. But I need to ask you, what is the technology that you have used in your research, apart from ChatGPT? Okay, so what is the technology that you have used in your research and how did it actually impact your research? Is it something that you feel you cannot do without that technology? And what are the particular challenges that is related to trust or ethics? Trust and ethics is very interrelated, yeah? So I need you to spend some time, use the chat box to share your thoughts. So I will be reading the chat box and then going through it. Where is the chat box? Okay, so I will, I need, sorry, I'm very unfamiliar with Zoom because as I've mentioned, in UTM, we use WebEx. So, it's like, okay. So maybe you can answer this and then maybe I can't find the chat box actually. The chat box. Okay, how many responded? Aliyu, maybe you can help me. Okay, I think 4 shows here. 4 people have responded, and I told how
Yeah.
altogether how many is in our session today?
66, Doctor.
66.
Okay, so 4 out
Yeah.
of 66 is too little. So I need more of you to give your
Yeah,
responses.
they are responding. They are responding.
Yeah, okay, good,
Yeah.
good. So in the meantime, I found the chat box, so I'm reading whatever has been written here. Okay.
MashaAllah.
Oh, someone else also. Azida is using an AI assistant. So I always use an AI assistant in all my sessions. Okay, it's actually very useful. So I know Azida uses the AI assistant. Okay, let me look at the 20 new messages. So I need to have at least 40 of you to respond, yeah? So I need 20 more. To giving time 3 minutes, yeah. Okay, end note. Okay, Grammarly. Okay, Mendeley and Grammarly. Okay, so I know those are the ones that usually use. Okay, and definitely that's something Abdul Rahman is here. It saves my time, you say. Definitely AI. So the first thing that I want to get clear to everyone is do not be untrusting of the technology. You have to trust technology. And definitely technology saves your time. So you have to acknowledge that technology saves your time. But it also allows you to, by saving your time to do this routine, mundane stuff, you can actually do more things and make better use of your time. So that's the purpose. Okay. ChatGPT, sometimes it has the tendency to agree with me. So the answer, okay, space, zero. Okay, I think many of you are using it. Okay. So I need 4 more.
Someone mentioned rabbit.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we have quite a good response altogether. Who is the assistant here? Can you just see how many percentage of the responses altogether? Aliyu, can you count for me? I'm sorry to have to make you. I'm very well known in my classes as making students work. So you cannot even, if it's virtual session, you have to work. Because I think by doing something, you actually participate, and therefore when you participate, you find more meaning. So Aliyu, can you help me? What's the percentage of the responses?
They are almost 45.
Okay, good. Okay.
45 in number.
Okay, so
the responses, yeah.
Okay. So now let me go to the first section, which is the introduction on technology's role in research. We all have to agree. I don't care. All of you have to agree that technology is very important. It has a very important role in research. I'm telling you that. Okay. You don't ask the question, is it important? Does it have a role? No need to ask the question. I am telling you it is very important. So I'm going to spend about hopefully half an hour to convince you that it is important. Okay. So, okay. Oh no. Okay, let me go. The control. Okay, so the first one is here I give 4 roles of technology in research. You can use technology for collaboration. This is my favorite word. Yeah, all of you must know that I love collaborating. So you must understand that collaboration is something that I look forward. So I always tell my students, no man is an island. Okay, no man is an island. You cannot live on your own. Even in research, especially in research, you have to work with others. You have to work in a team. So we will be talking about digital collaboration tools, and then Literature review. We know that when we do PhD, when we do any research, you have to do literature review. What's the purpose of literature review? Why do you do literature review? Because you need to know what others have done, right? Because otherwise you will be repeating what others have done. So by using technology, you will be able to automate this process. I will share with you when I did my PhD way back in the UK. That was the year 1980 something, 89 I think. But maybe some of you were not even born then. I had to go to the library and there were no tools. So there were no internet. So I had to go to the library physically in Salford. I did my PhD in Salford, University of Salford, UK, United Kingdom. So I had to go to the library and go to the shelves and actually find my literature. But now I tell you, we can churn out literature like anything. So it's very easy. And with technology, it can be automated. So that's the first one. Any research, you must do literature review. So we will try to find out what are the tools that you can use for automating literature review. And I see from the responses just now, some of you are already using those tools. That's good. Okay. The second one is for data collection. You know, those days, I always tell myself, because I am retired now, I always tell myself, do not talk about those days. Those days are long and gone. But I still have to talk about those days that are long and gone. I had to go out into the field to collect my data. I had to ask, I had to design questions, I had to ask questions. But now we have online survey tools, technology again, that you can use for data collection, and not to mention for analysis, as well as now we have AI tools for predictive modeling. Modeling is also very, very important, yeah? Okay. Oh no. Oh, I'm so sorry about making you headache because I don't know how to control the. Okay. Can someone control the slides for me?
Okay, from the technical team, please.
Yes, can the technical team control the slides for me because I'm not familiar at all with this.
Or Prof, can you just be using the arrows?
Yeah,
The
I
right
tried to
arrow?
use the arrows, but it won't do anything with the arrows. So there's nothing,
Oh,
even when I press the arrows, nothing happens. So I have to use the mouse.
yeah.
So, okay, let me. I want to go to the, oh, this is going to take some time. Okay.
Or you stop the presentation mode and then you take up from the, yeah.
Okay, I stop share. And
And then
then I'm
share
so
again.
sorry about this. Okay,
Yeah,
let me
these are
share
some of the
again.
pitfalls of technology again.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Okay.
So just go to the next slide.
Okay. So the choice the choice of your tools depends on your team's needs. This is the other thing that I need to emphasize. When you do research, do not do research on your own. Even though a PhD thesis is and a master's thesis has only one name, right? I'm not sure about IIUM, but you are usually only allowed to put one name. But that is no excuse for not working in a team. So you need to work in a team for your research. So what do you do when you do a PhD research? What you do is there is a big team, and then you divide up amongst yourself, amongst the team members. So who does which topic? Okay? So that is what I used to do in my master's class way back in 1989. Okay, so I at that time when I supervise master student, I say that it's a big topic, but I will break it up into several studies so that you still have to work in a team, because otherwise you don't know how to work with friends. You don't know how to work with your team members. So it's important for you to work with your team members. So the choice of your technology tool depends on what your team needs. Sometimes, and I know I'm very used to working in a team whereby there are just these what we call freeloaders. These freeloaders will just say, okay, I will read, and then, but they don't do much work. So perhaps just for virtual communication, but I hope it's more than that. So you use technology more than for communicating. You also use technology for managing tasks, divide up the tasks in the group, as well as to share materials that have been developed. So for file sharing. So that's an example of what you can do to, okay, file sharing. Okay, so popular examples for collaboration tools are for example, we're using now Zoom, I think. Okay, and I've mentioned Webex, we use in UTM, Institute Technology Malaysia. And I know the corporates, they like to use Microsoft Teams. So, but for your information, Ministry of Higher Education subscribes to Microsoft. So all public universities in Malaysia have access to Microsoft packages, including Teams. So most of the meetings, for example, when we developed the artificial intelligence roadmap, it was during the MCO, the movement control order. So we cannot leave our room. We cannot even leave our house. So, but we managed to get responses from hundreds of responses, hundreds of companies. How do we do it? We used Microsoft Teams. And in fact, some of them say that they, compared to attending physically, they felt that they could participate and they could actually contribute more ideas when it's done online. Okay, so Teams has features. For example, you can share screen like what I'm doing now. It also has something that is called whiteboards. So whiteboard is when you have to do some work on the screen. So we collate all of the materials. So that is some of the information that we can use. Okay. I asked you, how do you automate your literature review process? Okay. So we know that we have to search for the literature, we have to organize the literature, we have to analyze, and we have to summarize these articles that we have used. It was torture way back then, 30, 40 years ago. But now it's much easier through the use of technology. So some of these features that we look for are automation features, citation tracking, and then when we say I am looking for, let's say, entrepreneurship is a keyword that I use, then every time I have a new publication that is related to entrepreneurship, I will get an alert. Text mining, there's also something that we call recommendations. So AI can be used because of the use of generative AI, machine learning, a lot of that. It can make recommendations on what you should be reading. Okay? So these are some tools, digital tools that we use for searching relevant literature. We can use, I think everyone uses Google Scholar. We use Google Scholar. Why Google Scholar? Why not Google? Why are we encouraged to use Google Scholar for research? Anyone can, otherwise I'm just going to call a name. Samino Ibrahim. I see your name there. Samino, are you there?
Yes, Prof, I am there.
Okay, I see your name there is jumping out at me. Samino Ibrahim. So have you used Google Scholar? Have you used Google?
Yeah, I use it. I find my, I think, literature review, but it is in Arabic.
Yeah, so what's the difference? It doesn't matter in what language, but the thing is, what's the difference of Google versus Google Scholar?
The Google Scholar is take us to the maybe articles.
Articles, yeah, journal articles. So they
Yeah.
are more, that's why it's called Google Scholar. Otherwise,
Yeah.
if you go to Google, there will be an overload of information, and some of the information you cannot use because it is not,
Actually, yeah.
yeah. It's that, and we're having the same problem with Chat GPT actually. Because if you trust and if you believe absolutely in Chat GPT, you have to be aware that sometimes you cannot use the information in Chat GPT. Okay, so be careful. So at least Google has differentiated Google Scholar versus Google Open Access, all of that. Okay, and then we also have Scopus, Web of Science. These are all journal articles, and that's why we have journal publications. Journals have what? Journals have reviewers and have editors. So someone has gone through the articles and gave comments on how to improve it. And that's why we use these journals. Okay, any of you here, I was made to understand there are over 60 here. Anyone doing medical degree? Anyone from Kuantan? IIUM Kuantan? So we have PubMed, okay, we also have Semantic Scholar based on semantic search to find high impact papers and citations. And we also have visual representation of showing what's the connection of this paper with another paper. So those are all examples, yeah? Okay. So these are some of the technologies that you can also use for research. You have what's IoT? Internet of Things. That means communication using devices. That's why it's called Internet of Things. And then we also have wearables. And this is now I want you to show me, switch on your camera and show me okay, now I'm losing. Okay. Are you using any IoT or wearables? Definitely some of you should be using some wearables here, and describe how you use any of these IoT or wearables. Who has a smartwatch? Sorry.
Yeah,
Who has, yes, for example, okay. You can unmute to share. Okay, yeah, that's good. Abdul Muttalib, thank you very much. So that's an example. I thought I was wearing my smartwatch. Okay, who sometimes I use an Apple Watch because I am on the Apple platform. So everything I use Apple devices. I don't think that's an Apple Watch. Abdul Muttalib looks very big and bulky. What is that? Is that Garmin? Yeah. Okay.
Samsung.
Okay, so and then we also have many, for example, smart shirts. Any of you use GoPro cameras? Okay, so these are some of the examples of the IoT and wearables that you can use for research. So Abdul Muttalib, because you were brave enough to show me your watch, your bulky big watch, how can you use the watch for research? What research can you do?
For example, like remote something. I can do remote using Wi-Fi from
What does your watch tell you? Can I see that big watch again? Can you show the screen again? What does it tell you? Now it's black. Activate it. What does it tell you?
Sorry. So it is about it. Yeah. Yeah, this cannot see that. Yeah. So many sport, for example, if you're doing sport activity, walking,
Okay, so how many steps?
sleeping,
Okay, how can
the
that be the
blood
research?
rate. Yeah, heart rate, for example, we want to develop some what is called alert what's called automatic heart rate. For example, when I got dropped, so I can just send to, for example, message to my wife.
Yes.
So I can also share my location as well with my password. So when that happened, for example, I got somewhere else, and then my heart rate got very low or higher, so my wife will know
Okay,
something
good.
like that.
So it's the same thing
Mm.
like, for example, my family uses Life 360. Anyone here uses Life 360 app? So I know I have 4 children, so I know where they are, not just my husband, but I also know where my children are, wherever in the world that they may be. I know where they are, how long they have been there, and I even make driving. I know if they're driving safely or not driving safely. So technology tells you so many things. IoT is actually a lot to do with sensors. So try to identify what are the technology that you can use for your research. May I know, those of you who are here, what is your field of your discipline of research? How many are in medical?
Prof. Nurul Hanis here said she
Yes.
used Live 360
Uh-huh.
with her siblings.
Good, good. So I tell you, Life 360
Yeah,
is
I don't know
something
if she
that
can
is,
open the mic to speak to Prof on this.
yeah. Nurul, can I hear your voice?
Yes.
Yes, Nurul Hanis Muhammad Zu. Okay. So how do you use Life 360? And how can it be turned into a research? Basically, what is research?
Live 360, there are a few features available there, and part of it is what do you call that? Location sharing. It's not just location sharing. The app can also detect if there is a heartbreaking from driving, so we
Yes.
can get notified.
Yes, I have one son, I have 3 daughters. That son of mine, who is the youngest child, he likes to speed. So I know the speed of his driving, and I will tell him, oh, you're driving too fast. You were driving too fast. You were here and there yesterday. So I think it's good for families to use technology. And it can be, this is the thing about technology, it can be perceived as good or bad. But we have to look for the good things that it brings. So we have to trust the technology. That's very important. Okay. So sensors is something that I have listed here. I know that some of these are very familiar to you, some are not. Okay. It's moving. Sorry about this. Okay. Okay. On your video to show in what's the time now? It's 3 o'clock. So that's the next section. It's supposed to be, we talk about trust and ethics in research, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So why do we need trust in research? Why is trust important? So trust, because when we do research, we don't do research for our own sake. We have a community that we want to share our research to. So when you have trust, it ensures that your research is credible and you have integrity and the public has confidence in you. So trust make sure that there is this credibility and there is integrity and you have confidence in whatever is written. You don't want when people say, oh, don't believe what he or she write, or even things like sharing on social media. Sometimes there are influencers, right? But there are influencers that you can trust, and there are influencers that you don't trust, and you say rubbish influencers. So make sure that you choose the correct ones. It's the same thing when we do literature review. You want to choose literature that you can trust. So what happens when you don't trust, when you have eroded trust or the trust is no longer there? So what happens is there will be breaches in data. Do you know that I do not have a TikTok account? Why do I, when everyone in this day and age, everyone uses TikTok? Why do I not have a TikTok account? Because when TikTok first appeared, I think it was 5 years ago, you know that United States banned TikTok because, and therefore the data from TikTok cannot be believed. But it has overcome all of that. Okay, so we have data breaches. We do not believe the data that we get from certain use of technology. Okay, and then there is the ethical violations, and of course there is reputational damage. Okay, who knows an example of an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship is very much my area, and a local Malaysian entrepreneur where there is damage done to her reputation? Malaysians, you must answer this. Are there any Malaysians here?
Yusof, Doctor.
Yes, definitely. Who's that? Nur Farihah eh? Nur Farihah yang cakap eh?
Yes, Prof.
Suddenly your name popped up, so must be you kot. So betul, Vivi Yusof is someone that we trusted kan? We trusted Vivi. And then when all the court cases and then SKMM and first Mara said, so what's happened to her reputation? Damaged, right? So we have our trust in Vivi Yusof has eroded because of the reputational damage. Do we know whether she actually misused the funds that were loaned to her? We don't know yet because it hasn't gone to court yet. She hasn't been found guilty yet, but the damage has been done. So this is why when you do research, you must build up trust. And when you build up trust, you know that you can believe it. And therefore, there's no question about the ethics part of it. So very close relationship between ethics and trust. You start with trust, and people whom you do not trust are people who do not have ethics. When we talk about ethics, we have research ethics. For many, many years, we have something that we even have a committee that we say a research committee for ethics. When you do research, you must make sure that you use research responsibly. Okay? And therefore, you use research ethically. Okay? And especially because UTM does not have a medical program, yeah? Especially institutions that have medical faculties. You have to go through the ethics committee. After it is approved, then only you can do your research. So the ethics committee have to see what your proposal is and decide whether they want to approve or not your research before you can go out and do the research. Okay, so that is very important. Why ethics is most important in research. Okay, so now let me go to, okay, what factor most influences your trust in technology? Can I ask this question to you? What factor, this is a quick poll that I want to ask from you. So Nurul Hanis has spoken, Nur Farahah has spoken, can I have, Saminu has spoken, Abdul Muttalib has spoken. Can I need to see other names? What factor most influences your trust in technology?
I guess the fact.
Mahmoud, yes, Mahmoud? Yes, go on. What factor most influences your trust in technology?
Properly.
Pardon me? So what influences?
What influences my trust in technology?
Yes, what factor?
Okay. The factor that it proves my trust, that it helps me faster in knowing what I want to find instead of going through, books like back in the old days when I was in middle school, I had to rely on looking at books. But now, you know, with the advancement of AI, specifically Copilot.
Okay, so my question is what?
How I trust, so it gives me the proper methodology.
Okay, so the methodology of the technology influences, makes you more trusting of it. So what influences your trust in a particular technology?
Okay.
So one,
Prof, some have mentioned
yes,
in the chat.
yes,
One said
I can't read the
user
chat.
review.
User what?
Yeah, references. I'm reading from the chat. Someone said references.
Yes. So the more people
And someone
say
said the
support.
brand.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
Brand, references, recommendations, support. Okay.
And support. Yeah, support from the big 5 companies. Yeah. Global adoption.
Okay. Those are good things. Okay. So you know that those are the things that influence your trust in technology. But before you can get a brand, you have to build the brand, right? The trust has to be earned, and the brand is the outcome. At the end of it, you get a brand. Unless you go for brands that are already trustworthy. What's an example of a trustworthy brand in consulting, in research and consulting? Big names, the big fives, the big companies. PwC, for example, we know that any research that comes out of PwC, Deloitte and Touche, any research that comes out from Deloitte and Touche, you can trust it. Okay, but so that's the brand that it carries. But before you come to that brand, you have other things, right? I'm going to see. Those are trying to see whether I can get the chat. Okay. Oh, okay. Wow, 40 people have right. Okay, 40 new messages that now I can get. UNESCO, we can trust. Okay, very funny. I'm going to use a lot of UNESCO actually. UNESCO is a brand that we can trust. Okay, why do you say Muhammad? Where's this? Who's this Muhammad Khalis Kasif Majid? Can I see you, Muhammad Kasif Majid? Are you there, Kasif? Kasif?
Yes, madam.
Yes, hi Kasif. Okay.
Yes, hello, ma'am. How are you?
I like it when you write there
Thank you so
UNESCO,
much.
we can trust. Why do you trust UNESCO? Why do you trust UNESCO? Hafizu, Google. I don't trust Google. Why you trust Google? That's a, I do not trust Google. Okay. Why? But like Kasif, I trust UNESCO. So why do you trust UNESCO, Kasif? Azida, don't leave. You cannot leave. It's quiet in here. Are you all done? I really someone. Azida, we are all making noise here. Where's Azida? Azida, I'll note. Azida, Azida, are you there? I know that your note taker is safe.
Yeah, I think she's having challenge. I advise her.
Huh? Okay. Let's see whether I can read. McKinsey, Abdul Muttalib, right? McKinsey, you trust McKinsey, right? Okay, secrecy, interesting. Kasif, you always write things that make me want to know you better, Kasif. Why do you say secrecy? No? Okay, I will go on. I'm not getting it, sir. Okay. Describe. Okay. Oh. Okay. What factor? Okay. Ethical challenges in technology-driven research. So we have biasness, one of challenge. What do we mean by bias? Because artificial intelligence rely a lot on training data. when we train data, it depends on who is giving the data, who is using the training. So sometimes when you have training data only from one source, always the same source, so there may be bias. Okay, so there has to be variety of sources. And then there's also challenge, another ethical challenge is privacy. This is something that is very common. We don't want to share our data. Why? Because we value our privacy. And we are afraid that our data will be used in a wrong way. There's now a lot of scammers, right? Scam uses data. So you don't want to share your data because you say that when you share your data, it might be misused by a scammer. So because of that reason, do you not want to share data? You still have to share data, okay? But you have to be careful with whom you want to share your data. The same thing when you do your research, you have to be careful where you want to publish your research, which journal. Make sure that you are publishing the research in a journal that you can trust, okay, that your community can trust. All of you, do you have a community? I asked you I told you, do not do research all alone. There has to be a team. I told you about that. And there also has to be a community. Do you know who is your community? Yes or no?
Yes, for me, it's
Okay.
a society of chemical engineers.
Good, good. Chemical, you know that I always respect people from chemical engineering because they, to me, amongst all engineering, because you know that UTM is very much an engineering university, but the chemical engineers, they are the ones who are very advanced in the use of technologies, in the use of resources, in the use of tools, okay? So they have a very strong community. So all of you must have a community, okay? So first find your team member and then find your community. In your community, there will be journals that your community reads. So you must read these journals that your community reads, okay? I also, a few weeks ago, I talked about multidisciplinary research. But multidisciplinary research means you can only do multidisciplinary research if you have people from different disciplines. So likewise, you have to collaborate with people from other disciplines, and you also have to have a community. So anything that you write, anything that you want to ask, anything that you're not sure of, you ask who? You will ask your community because they are the ones who will support you, okay? And then transparency. Have you heard about black box? Black box is when you don't want to know what's inside the box. It's black. That's why it's called a black box models. You just want to know what comes out of it. But another thing that is important is what are the black boxes that you can trust and what are the boxes that you cannot trust. So make sure you have trust. It is transparent. You know the models that they use. Okay? And accountability. So if there are any errors, who is accountable? You must know who should answer. There has to be accountability. Okay? And also another challenge is you rely too much on the technology. So you over rely on the technology. What's the comparison? Why do we use AI, which is a technology? You know, fourth industrial revolution technologies, digital technologies, and then we have the humans. So sometimes humans, just because we have the technology, humans say, I don't have to think anymore. I just use the technology. I rely on the technology. We don't want that, okay? Because we must always appreciate that humans are the best and we can rely on humans. The technology is just to help humans, okay? You cannot let technology take over. That's the important thing. And we must remember that who controls technology, who develops and who designs technology, it is the humans. Okay, so we must always remember that. Okay, so what time is it now? 3:20. Okay, best practices for building trust in research. So we have, these are some of the practices to make sure that we have responsible research. We have some kind of plan on how we want to manage our data, where we want to put it, where we want to save it, and who get access to that data, who doesn't get access to data. We have to make sure all of that. We cannot just say, okay, all data is open, everyone can get access. No, we have to have ethical handling and storage. Okay, when we develop a proposal, we must highlight what are the ethical considerations. Okay, so we must highlight what are the considerations. We know that when we do research, we have to develop so many proposals. But when we develop the proposals, we always tend to forget the ethics part of it. We must remember and must consider, okay, for this proposal, what are the ethical considerations? And that's why some universities, every proposal for research must go through the research ethics committee. Okay, so do you know whether IIUM has a research ethics committee? Is there anyone from CPS that can answer me? Dr. Amali, Dr. Noor, yeah? They have a committee, right? Yes, that's good. Okay. I was a dean of postgraduate in the year 2007. Okay, at that time, there was no research ethics committee in UTM. So therefore, postgraduate dean had to set up a research ethics committee. And then we have to go through all the PhD proposals, master's proposals, and identify, okay, is this ethical or not? Even though we did not have a medical faculty at that time. But ethics is something that is very important. Nowadays, I think all universities should have a research ethics committee, especially ethics for research, okay, if you're doing research. Okay, and there should be ethical guidelines. Whenever you have learning, there has to be ethical guidelines, okay? So ethical guidelines would adhere to institutional and global framework. Okay, do we have ethical guideline? We have, the first ethical guideline was introduced by UNESCO, Kasif. Okay, I like it because you mentioned UNESCO. Okay, but then now almost all institutions use some kind of framework for ethics. Even Malaysia has an ethical framework for research. Yeah? So that will enable us to build trust. The ethical guidelines builds up trust in the research that we do. Okay. And then we have transparency. We have to have clear documentation of methods and tools. We have to know who does what. Okay, clear roles and responsibilities. And we also have to make sure that we work with everyone. That's why I say collaboration is very important. You have to work with others to ensure that there is trust in the research that you do. Others, let's say if you are in IT, doesn't mean that you only do, your team members are all IT people, computer science people. No, you have to get someone from law, you have to get someone from social science, from other, they work with you. They will give other perspectives. For your information, my PhD thesis was multiple perspectives. I don't want to say which year that was. That was in 1993. Yeah, my PhD thesis a long time ago. Okay. So at that time, we emphasized that there has to be anything that you do. There has to be multiple perspectives. Okay. So how you build trust is because when you have people of many disciplines, people of many expertise working with you, so you know that you can build the trust. Okay, so okay, there should be global ethical frameworks and collaborations. So there should be, what are some of the universal ethical principles in technology research? There has to be respect for autonomy. You want to give freedom. So there has to be empowerment, autonomy. There has to be fairness, justice and equity. There has to be transparency and accountability, as well as privacy and confidentiality. So these are some of the principles. So we are already talking about principles for ethics. Okay, so every ethics must have principles. So you must know what are the principles. Okay, Kasif, here I'm showing the UNESCO recommendations on AI ethics. Okay, so here there are 11 areas, policy areas for ethics in artificial intelligence. Okay, so the first one is there has to be an impact assessment, and then the second one, there has to be governance. Always governance must be in place. Yeah? That's what I did when we did the artificial intelligence roadmap for Malaysia. The first thing we did was there must be governance in place. Okay, and then there has to be a policy, and then so including cooperation, collaboration, there has to be addressing culture, gender, education and research, communication, economy, labor, and ultimately health and social well-being. Okay, I've given you, there's more that you can read there. I've given you URL that you can look for there. Ethics recommendation for artificial intelligence given by UNESCO. Okay, and then this is another OECD principles on AI. Okay, so the AI principles of OECD promote the use of AI that is innovative and trustworthy and that respects human rights and democratic values. So they set standards for AI that are practical and flexible enough to stand the test of time. Okay, I like this quote and that's why I put it here. And this is in the next reference that I'm going to be using and talking a lot. If we develop AI, just so that in this particular case, the technology is AI, because that's a current. For your information, when we developed the roadmap in 2021, AI was not trending then at that time. So it was difficult to get collaboration, cooperation. But Max Tegmark said, if we develop AI without any understanding of ethics, we will be biased. It will magnify our bias. If we develop AI without concern for its alignment with our human values, then it will lack principles. So it is up to us. Us means who? Human. It is up to human to ensure that technology is designed and used responsibly. So I like this quote, and that's why this quote is in the cover of the guideline that we will use. Okay. I will share shortly. Next slide. Okay, this is the source. The main source for the next 8 slides is Malaysia, Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. In 2021, we helped the ministry to come up with the roadmap. But in 2024, after I retired, then they did the first strategy, which was to come up with the guidelines, the national means Malaysia guidelines on AI governance and ethics. And this is published by MOSTI. Okay, that's the reference. Okay, so that's the quote that I like. Okay, and this is a global calls on the ethics of AI. The first ethical code for AI systems was introduced by Isaac Asimov. Okay, that was in which year? 1942. That's why for those of us in computer science, we always say We learned AI many years ago. The first thing that we studied in computer science way back in 1950, 1960 was artificial intelligence. And then it went out of fashion. And no one was interested in AI. And then suddenly now, everyone is interested in AI. Okay. So, Isaac Asimov come up with 3 laws of robotics. That was in 1942. And then in 1986, he came up with the 4th law, which is the 0th law of robotics. So what are the 4 laws of robotics? Yeah? So the first law, because a robot is an example of an AI, that one example of AI, area of AI is robotics. So what's the first law saying? So we have 3 laws. The first law says a robot, or in this case, a technology, should not injure, should not hurt a human being or allow a human being to be harmed. The second law was that the robot must obey the orders that is given by human beings, except where such orders will conflict with the first law, which is a human being being harmed. Right? The third law is a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. But what is the 4th law? The 4th law says a robot may not harm humanity. What's the difference of humanity versus being human versus being humane? Anyone care to explain what's the difference of human versus humane versus humanity? Humanity applies to all mankind. Human beings, first and foremost, you must be a human. One person, you must be a human. When you are human and you care for others, then you are being humane. But when the whole mankind, that is, you're talking about humanity. Okay? So UNESCO in November 2021 came up with recommendations on the ethics of AI. You must remember, this came up after we developed our roadmaps, AI principles, but nowhere can we see that, oh, Malaysia developed the AI principles, because Malaysia mostly did not, much less Rose Alinda or UTM, or much, we don't have a brand yet. But UNESCO has a brand. So UNESCO in November 2021, which was way after what we released our work, UNESCO came up with the recommendation on the ethics of AI, which is the first ever global standard for the AI ethics that was adopted by all 193 states. And there are 10 AI principles. Okay. In Malaysia, when we developed our roadmap, we talked about 7 principles. I'm just going to show this. Can you see this? Can you see this? Aliu, can you read or not?
I cannot read.
It says, cannot read.
Not very clear.
Not very
Yeah,
clear,
cannot.
okay. Principles for responsible AI. Okay, on page, this was the book that we came up, almost the books like the same, okay. This was the book that we came up with. Which is the Malaysia National Artificial Intelligence Roadmap 2021 to 2025. The short form is AirMap. Okay, so at that time we came up with 7 principles, but UNESCO at the end of 2021 came up with 10 AI principles. What are the 10 principles? So the 10 principles show here. First, we have to have awareness and literacy, sustainability, human oversight and determination, transparency, explainability, responsibility, right up to fairness and non-discrimination. I'm going to read out what our team came up with as principles for responsible AI. The first was fairness. Any technology, you have to be fair. Okay? The use or deployment of AI must be designed to avoid biasness to the target audience that has the AI solution to be deployed. The second one is reliability, safety, and control. The third one is privacy and security. The fourth one is inclusiveness. The fifth is transparency. Six is accountability. And we have the seventh principle, which is pursuit of human benefit and happiness. Okay, I'm going to show you what. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry about this. Ali, I'm so sorry. I'm not familiar with how to control this. Okay. So, many trust and benefits. Yeah? Many people were worried about the safety of AI technology. So, this document serves as a bridge to gain stakeholders' trust through the implementation of responsible AI. You must always remember this. Responsible, any technology, AI just happens to be the technology that is current now. But any technology, you have to have responsible. Okay? Always remember that. Responsible technology. Okay? So trust is essential for protecting stakeholders in their use of emerging technologies. What is digital trust? Digital trust is the expectations of individuals that digital technologies and services will protect all stakeholders' interests and ensure a secure digital world. So that's under the World Economic Forum Digital Trust Initiative, which was in 2022. So the national guidelines address the need of having AI systems must be governed, developed, and deployed while adhering to the 7 principles. 7 principles, the following are some potential benefits of AI when used responsibly. Okay, what are the 7 principles? The 7 principles that I have read out just now. Yeah. So the 7 principles are, okay, so this was from our work. Malaysia alignment with global calls, the AI roadmap, August 2022, to support the UNESCO recommendation on AI ethics. The Malaysian government introduced 7 AI principles in August 2022, as explained. So these principles are included in the AI roadmap that we developed, that I headed the team. And so what are these? Yeah. So the first principle is transparency, and so it's listed there 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And then they came up with from the 7 AI principles, they come up in 2025, 2024, the National Guidelines for AI Governance and Ethics for Responsible and Inclusive AI, which is called AIGE. AIG. Okay. So this, all of you are studying in Malaysia, right? So you must understand what is the Rukun Negara, the principles of Malaysia. So any ethical guidelines that we come up with must abide to the Rukun Negara of Malaysia, which is the national principles of Malaysia. So, okay, what are the Rukun Negara and responsible? The first one is we have to believe in God and fairness. The second one, we have to be loyal to the king and country and transparency. The third one is we have to believe and that the supremacy of the constitution and the rule of law. And the fifth one is courtesy and morality and human rule. So there are 5 principles, 5 Rukun Negara. 1, 2, 3, This is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, supremacy of the constitution, supremacy of the rule of law. So that's number 4. And then number 5, courtesy and morality and human dignity. Okay, responsible AI from an Islamic perspective. Because all of you are from IIUM. Islamic principles guide the ethical development of AI, as Islam emphasizes social good for public interest and human welfare. These 7 AI principles that were developed for Malaysia, they are aligned with Islamic practices and therefore can be used as a foundation to analyze the implications of AI. Okay. Islam as a way of life guides all aspects of human existence, including the ethical adoption of AI technology. We must all remember that we are khalifah in this world. Humans are khalifah. Always put that in your mind. We are khalifah in the world. And therefore, we are responsible for any usage of resources that we see in this world, including technologies. We are responsible, humans are responsible. So we need a guideline, we need a guidance to ensure that these technologies do not transgress the Islamic boundaries and therefore will not result in negative impacts. So the Islamic perspective on AI emphasizes the importance of ethical regulation and innovation, aligning with the 7 AI principles. Okay, so responsible AI has the AI, so you must always remember these 7 AI principles as has been there. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. The last one is on reflection. So what is the reflection? What is the reflection that you have from this lecture? What can you reflect? What's the lesson learned that you have here?
That technology is very important, and it's very important to stress on it on everyone that we must use technology, we must implement it, but at the same time, knowing the ethical value or knowing the value of what you research in different types of search engines. Like, for example, ChatGPT doesn't give me sources, but Copilot gives me sources, but yet sometimes you have to read the papers itself because sometimes you don't have access to that specific journal. So when you want to defend or prove, you have to read that journal just to validate that what Copilot said.
Yes. So do not accept at face value, Mahmoud. Thank you very much. That's a good summary. Okay. So any technology, it brings us, it guides us. That's why the word guide is very important. But we cannot trust completely. We have to double check. We have to recheck with other sources. So that's why, and that's part of being a researcher. Being a researcher, you don't just accept. Yes, Motio. Yes, Rahman. You want to say something?
No, thank you so much.
Okay.
Benefit more.
Yeah. So trust is not blinding. So that is very important. Yeah. So technology is important, but do not believe completely in technology and say, okay, we surrender and therefore we should trust the technology because the technology is so much more intelligent than us. Ultimately, humans created technology. So we have to have guidelines. That's why you make sure in IIUM, CPS, whoever is in CPS, make sure that there is a guideline on research, guideline of ethics, guideline in the use of technology in research. Especially now, I'm not going to come out and say, don't use ChatGPT. I would say, use any technology that you can find. But there's a big but there. When you use the technology, you must double check. Don't just surrender and say, okay, the technology says this and this, I accept wholly. Do not trust technology completely. Trust yourself more than the trust on the technology. But the technology helps you along. Okay, so I hope you remember that.
So no blind trust.
No blind spots. No, definitely no blind spots. So
Yeah, Abdul Majid said.
yes, thank you, Abdul Majid. So you must make sure that you check every source, yeah, and don't just accept at face value. So don't trust completely. Okay.
Yeah, Muhammad Izzuddin here said, Prof,
Yes.
that AI
What?
is a potent technology.
Okay.
It is our responsibility to control its usage with humans to ensure it can build a better future.
Exactly. Very good. Thank you. Yes, that is very good.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why humans, we must always say humans is superior to technology, but our creator is superior to all humans. Also remember that, yeah? Okay. Don't think that just because we have technology, therefore you can okay, I'm no longer accountable and responsible. That's why we emphasize responsible use of technology. Okay.
So, Prof,
Yes.
I think with these reflections, can we maybe have just one question because of time?
Yes.
Then, inshallah, we see
Okay.
if there is an open question, who can open the camera and ask. Just one, I think, would be good, inshallah.
Yeah.
So if there is any from the audience, please, a quick one, a very important question.
Question.
Yeah, Shamimi. Nurin Shamimi, yes.
Okay. How can I revise my manuscript to reduce the AI generated content to meet the journal guideline? Thank you.
I always say that, okay, it's good you have your manuscript, but there has to be you, what you think, not what the machine thinks. That's why I always say, okay, I can know when I read something, I can know whether, of course, because I have 35 years experience, but anyone also can know whether it is you or a machine wrote it. So the manuscript, Nurin Shamimi, is how can you revise your manuscript? Make sure that Nurin Shamimi leaps out of the article. And everyone knows this is how Nurin Shamimi thinks, not an artificial intelligence thinks. Okay? So whenever your lecturer gets your assignment or something that you have written, make sure that it is you. No matter how, I have a son who's studying in Sunway. I always use this example. I hope he's not here. All my family has very good English, So his lecturers tell him, okay, you use ChatGPT. I won't accept your assignment. So he had to resit his paper. And then he said, okay, what I will do is I will make mistakes in my English so that then the lecturer will not think that it is generated from a machine. I said, no, it's not. It's not. You have to jump out. It's not your language or your lack of grammar in your language or your weaknesses in your spelling. So he said, okay, maybe purposely I will make mistakes in my spelling so that then my lecturer will believe that not a machine generated it. I said, no, when you write it, you have to write it. It's good that your English is very good, like better than a machine effect, but make it sound like it comes from you, from your thoughts, from your research, not from a box, a black box that we don't know. Okay, I think that's a very good question.
Yeah.
Yes, Ali, you okay? If there are any
Thank you
other
very
questions,
much.
Yeah, if there are any questions, you can ask me anytime. You can email me. At my email is my full name, ROSEALINDAA. Only the N is, I have to put another A there, which is Alias, because apparently someone in the United States already took the rosealinda@gmail.com. So my email is rosealinda@gmail.com. All connected, no full stop, no nothing. I am a pensioner, so I have all the time in the world to respond to your questions. Okay.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you very
Alhamdulillah.
much. Any questions? I only do this talk for IIUM because IIUM has a very soft spot in my heart. So
Alhamdulillah.
any student from UTM or whatever, I will say, no, I'm retired. I'll just say I'm retired, but not if you say that. The first thing that you should say is, I am from IIUM. Then I will read whatever you have written. Okay, thank you, Aliyu. Thank you very much for the assistance.
We so much appreciate you, Prof. This has been very valuable to us, and it has opened doors to understand really the principles, especially that the Malaysian government, under your leadership, has put forth for our guidance when using technology in our researches and in our lives generally. On behalf of the Center for Postgraduate Studies, I want to implore that our dear participants, we open our cameras to have a record of photography. I believe Sister Yana will be here to take the group picture.
I must see. Which one is Liana? I must see which one is Liana. I know she set up this Zoom call. I don't see her face.
Oh, she will show up now, inshallah, for the group photography.
Liana, I don't even have her number. So you must message me. Okay, Liana. I have communicated with the Dean, Naim, as well as the Deputy Dean, Dr. Noor Amali. But I see a lot of Liana, but I don't know how Liana looks like. So
good.
Ibrahim, your camera is off. I can't see your face. Is Ibrahim still there? Yeah.
So the technical team have used Snapchat.
Yes, hi Ibrahim, I can see your face. Yeah,
yes.
Hi Ibrahim. Alif, I can see your face. Dayang, I don't see your face. Aulia, Humaira, where's your face? Aulia, Humaira. Yeah. Okay. Some just
they're showing their smiling faces now.
Yeah. The thing about ladies is sometimes we don't put our scarf on. So suddenly camera says on. So then only I'm looking, where's my scarf? Where's my scarf? So then I will have my photo there. And by the way, my profile photo, that's not me. My profile photo, because I'm using my daughter's Zoom account. So the profile is my daughter's face, actually. She is studying at MSU.
So Alhamdulillah, the group photo session is done, and we thank you very much for your patience, for your attention, and for having the time to journey with us through this very important session. Professor Ross, we thank you very much, and this has been very eye-opening. We hope that inshallah we'll continue to have from your wealth of experience and expertise in this field. You are a mother, you are a leader, you are all in one person. We thank you very much. Jazakallahu khairan. We appreciate CPS for giving us the platform to operate and of course to benefit from this kind of workshops. We appreciate all of you for having time to attend. Jazakumullahu khairan. We hope that now we'll continue to judiciously, responsibly, and ethically use technology in whatever we do. Thank you very much and have a nice day ahead.
Yes, the slides here, Aliyu, I think I gave the slides. I already gave the slides.
Yeah, you have shared in the chat box. Yeah, it's in the chat box even. Inshallah, you can download.
I hope everyone can get the slides. I just did the slides just now, so I'm sorry if it's not too detailed. I'm retired, you see. I give the excuse, I am retired.
Yeah, you have given open ticket, so inshallah we can reach out to
Yes.
you at will, and we hope to get more,
Yes.
inshallah.
The first thing you should say, I am an IIUM student. Then I will read.
Inshallah, that's the opening ticket.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much,
Alhamdulillah.
Ali. Thank you for your assistance. Okay, bye.
Jazakallah khairan, Prof. We
Assalamualaikum.
appreciate it. Wa alaikum
Thank you,
assalam wa
Prof.
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much. Yeah, barakallah fikum. Alhamdulillah.
Bye, Abdul Salam.
Yeah, bye.
Bye,
Assalamualaikum.
Abdul Muttalib.
Thank you,
Jazakillah-
brother Aliyu, for
Jazakillah
the
khair.
event.
Yeah, thank you,
Alhamdulillah.
Aliyu.
Thank you so much.
I think just one thing quickly to say, always be yourself
Okay.
when you're writing, you know? Just because
Yes.
AI says something, just be yourself. That's it.
Be yourself, exactly. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Be confident in your voice. Where's your voice?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, your voice. And that's why you're doing postgraduate, to find your voice and to show your voice to the world.
Exactly. Postgraduate, you want to be the change you want to see in the world.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's absolutely.
Congratulations, all of you, for registering for postgraduate education.
And also, please don't forget to sign the attendance. The link has been shared already, so please
Thank you.
sign
Yeah,
it.
on the chat box. I'm
Yeah,
learning
on
Zoom
the chat.
today.
Alhamdulillah, this is another age in technology. You are
Yeah.
now navigating different platforms.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prof. Jazakillah khair.
Welcome. Thank you.
Amin ya Rahman.